I'm Cherie Johnson. Welcome to Cherie's World. We are back at it again for another season of Cherie's World podcast. Today will be a fun show. You are stuck with me because Mr. Courtney Blackman, my co-host and the producer of this show, has gone back to school. So he is working on his higher learning, and I just want to give positive vibes and a shout out to Mr. Courtney. Courtney, we're rooting for you. All A student this semester. We want to see you win, and congratulations, my brother, for going back to school. We are definitely cheering you on, and I'm going to hold it down while you're gone. Today, we have a man who, well, we kind of have two men in one together. Mr. Jeremy CY Butler is a director. He's here today, but he's here first as Mr. Jay Psychs. Jay Psychs is a music producer. He is a rapper, and he has an amazing gospel rap album that I forgot that I was listening to gospel rap, and for a minute I thought I was listening to gangster rap, and in another minute I thought I was like sitting in church, but then another minute I was all in the club saying amen. You don't want to miss this. His album is called Outer Space. So check out Jay Psychs' album, Outer Space. Make sure you watch this interview so you can learn about the journey that he took me on. I hope that you guys will go on this journey with you because I believe this is going to be my favorite album of the year. I want you to listen to it. I want you to write me. If you write him, that's nice. But I want you to write me because I want to talk to you about this album. It inspired me and it took me on a journey. Stay tuned because I'm going to take you on the same journey that I went on. So Mr. Jay Psychs is in Cherie's World.
The only podcast coming through your beat stereo is Cherie's World, so let's go around like a merry-go. Plug your phone in, make sure it got a full battery. Download it Wednesday, listen to it Saturday. She cover all topics, whatever you after. She got ball players, authors, doctors, actors, rappers, singers, entrepreneurs, divas, leaders. Androids or Apple, turn up your speakers. Trying to shoot my shot like the vaccine. Whether it's Cherie or Maxine, whether the podcast or acting, she that queen. PYT, you know what that mean. Saw you on TV and touch the screen. Touch on you, I plead Lucy's got a crush on you. It'll mean the world to get a blush from you. Teaspoon to me, leave you sleep like Robitussin do.
I was so excited that I didn't want to forget anything. And I'm sorry, Cherie podcast. I love y'all, but these questions is really for me. Because I know this man, I love this man, but I know him in a whole different light. So, but today we are here to talk about his album, Outer Space, which that alone brought so many questions to me. Because are you using outer space as a metaphor?
I am. It started out with me just wanting to do a more out of this world sound, out of this world album. And then as I was creating the instrumentals for it, I noticed I was using a lot of gospel samples. And at the same time, I was going through different things in my life. So I felt like I was called to kind of switch up my style of music and go back to my roots. All my talents and gifts were showcased in the church when I first started. So I wanted to do an album that was meaningful and not just entertaining. And I wanted to change lives.
So is this considered a gospel album? Because honestly, I got lost, right? Like at first I was thinking that I was going to be listening to a gospel album, but then after listening to it for a while, I forgot.
Yeah. I would consider it a gospel rap album, Christian rap album. The whole outer space theme is basically stepping out on faith. Getting rid of certain things that may be holding you back and stepping out there, putting fear aside and doing what you're called to do.
It was an amazing album. And for the first time in a long time, it was an album that somebody sent to me that I could listen to with my kid. And my kid, that's how you know your music is popping, right? When the kids start singing it and the kids moving, that's how you know you got to hit. My daughter grooved with me the whole entire time. Not one time did I feel nervous or like I had to stop it so that she couldn't hear what was going on. And it was honestly so good. Like I come from the era where we cared about lyrics, not just the beats, right? But you actually have original music, which was like breathtaking. It wasn't all something that was digitally made. Like I heard instruments, I heard horns, I heard keys. Did you do that? Do you play?
So I started out playing drums in the church at a very young age. I made all the instrumentals for the album. Um, my father always said, like when I first started making music, your bass is always really, really loud and really powerful. So I wanted not just that. I didn't want to just punch people in the chest with the bass. I wanted people to hear, like you said, the horns, the different instruments. And I had to literally sit down and learn how to mix and master everything so that you could hear every single frequency. And sometimes you hear some auto panning, something might be in this ear and then it'll go around to this ear. Like it sounds crazy.
It
So
does.
yeah, I do. I play the drums, I play the piano. Yeah,
Did you
I
play the
love music.
organ too?
No, so those were literally sounds I was creating on my software. And then some of those were like church samples, cathedral samples, all cleared. But yeah, I was using a lot of church sounds.
Absolutely amazing. And you didn't dumb down your lyrics at all. Your lyrics were intelligent and they were thought out. Do you write yourself?
I appreciate it. I do. I do. I usually literally have to go through something in life and then just write about what's going on. I've realized that that's the best music. That's the best kind of art. Even with my acting, if I'm going through something, I can kind of write a scene to kind of mirror what's happening in real life and really be in that zone.
So one of your lyrics, you says, "You better hug me now because you're gonna miss me when I go to," and then it says,
Outer space. Yeah.
yes, and then it says touching and real. Were you speaking to a particular person or were you just speaking?
Um, I feel like that part specifically for me was show me love now, while I'm still growing, and show me love now and support while I'm elevating. Don't just come at the end of that elevation when you see the success, you see the red carpets, you see the premieres, and now you want to, well, I always supported you. Like, I want you here now with me, supporting me. So it was kind of a message to the people that low key have like come back into my life
Mm,
saying, I've always been here, I've always loved you, I've always supported you, but I haven't really heard that or felt that same energy from you, you
mm.
know.
But you got my
So it was
support.
multiple people.
You,
Thank you.
you got my support, and I'm here. You took me on a whole journey. Through the journey, though, you made me like, I wonder if he believes in a parallel universe.
Hmm.
Is that a crazy thing
Um,
to ask?
I believe that could exist. I do definitely believe that could exist. I always watch those types of movies. So I'm definitely, interested in parallel universes. Who's the director for Tenet?
Oh, I don't know.
That was Cameron, whatever. He always makes like these really like out of this world type movies. And it makes you think. So that's what I kind of wanted my album to kind of make you think.
It made me look. I got questions that I wrote
That is
down.
fire. That is fire.
I literally didn't want to forget anything because I was like, okay, I only have an hour with him. And
Yeah,
if we get off and my questions aren't answered, I'm gonna have to call him and do this privately because I want to know.
that
Your
is amazing.
and it's so crazy because I feel bad because I'm like looking down. I never do this. And Courtney is not here with me today because Courtney is going back to school. So he's
Okay.
for his finals. Now he is the one who like takes notes and he
Yeah,
like all his research. And I just like to keep it fresh and like interesting. But I was like, oh no, 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 I need to know all this stuff.
I'm cool with this. I'm cool with that.
Thank you. So you infinity. A hard lesson that I didn't learn until I was in my 40s. Everybody is not your friend. Everybody is not your friend. You was preaching and teaching, and I went through a whole serum. What is not serum? What do they call it in church when the preacher be preaching?
Oh, the sermon?
The
Yeah,
sermon. Yes, you took me
yeah,
through a whole sermon on infinity. So it hit me hard, right? And it was an amazing, difficult lesson that I had to learn. Where was the inspiration of the song coming from? Because you obviously had to learn these lessons too.
yeah. um, just how I said previously, some people show up at the end of your success or once they see it in their face and they want to be a part of it. The flip side to that is I've had people that watched me grow, watched me come up, and then once I started hitting certain pockets of success, they kind of backed off. And I was like, was happening. And, it was always like a mutual support, mutual respect, but they kind of just backed off. And then sometimes I know you've heard it, like I know you've heard this 1,000 times in the industry, but as you're growing, your closest friends will be like, "Oh, you think you're getting better now? Like you're better than me?" And I'm like, "Where is that coming from?"
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was saying. Like everybody's not your friend.
No.
That may be your closest friends are the same ones that might be hating on you.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Not to be funny, but my friends and my family are not the ones who really buy my stuff. I have a few family members who buy my stuff, who watch my stuff, who are there to support me through thick and thin. But you would think that the closest people to you are the first ones to buy your things, and that's not always true.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird. That's kind of weird, but yeah.
Absolutely. And then I also had, when I was like sitting here listening to it, I replayed things that happened in my own life. And one thing that I've learned is everybody can't go with you where you're going. So
100%.
as you're succeeding, some people don't fall off and they're not going to keep moving with you, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's growth, right? There's no growth in comfort.
Yeah.
So obviously you've been uncomfortable through life and you done lost some people who really meant a lot to you.
Definitely.
What have you learned about being able to let them go so that you can grow?
I've just learned that certain people are seasonal people. So they're there for a certain season in your life to help you in that specific season, but they're not meant to go throughout the entire journey with you. As far as like the stepping out on faith thing as well, sometimes you have to get rid of situations, people, that may be holding you back or not motivating you the way that you need to be motivated, not encouraging you, not of the same mindset as you. So it's kind of, you have to surround yourself with like-minded people that are going to the same destination where you are. And if they're not, you can kind of slow you down, slow your progress down. So I've noticed that it's easier and better to kind of let those people go up front so that you won't hinder your journey.
Absolutely. And how do you do that without finding closure? A lot of people have a problem moving on when they feel that they haven't gotten the closure that they needed. I've learned to what is closure? Like, what is somebody apologizing for something that they did or saying, "Hey, I'm sorry, I don't want to be your friend anymore." Does that make it better? Not for me.
It can, but I guess it depends on what the situation is. I feel like there's certain levels of things that people can do along your journey that they can apologize for. You can kind of forgive them and it's okay, cool. And sometimes you can forgive them, but kind of distance yourself so that doesn't happen again. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that brings me to the next song, A Letter from Earth, right? Man, I sat there and I started thinking about all the people. If I had an opportunity that I could write like one last letter to. And I'm one of those people where, some of my closest loved ones are gone. And I told them on a regular. I sat down and I wrote a letter, right? So letters from Earth, if you could send a letter to anyone in outer space, and I'm saying it as heaven, right? Who would it be to, and what would the letter say?
Definitely my Uncle Marvin. He passed when I was super young, but I noticed that a lot of the things that I love today come from me seeing him love those same things. Like my favorite food is pizza. His was pizza. Our favorite radio station locally was 93.9. Like that was our thing. He actually used to do like these home movies and started doing these home videos, acting like my grandfather, and my mom was acting like my grandmother, and they would put on these skits. And I was sitting as a kid watching that, like, I want to do that. And then I of course I was watching you as well. And just watching, I had certain people that I was watching on TV and watching create these movies and these skits and these films. And I was just like, that's what I want to do. Like I felt something watching you, watching my uncle, watching my mom do these things. So I would definitely just want to thank him. If I wrote a letter to him, in heaven, I want to thank him for inspiring me and helping me to become this person that I am becoming today.
Wow. That makes me smile so big because my letter is to my Uncle Tyrone.
Are you serious?
Yes, I was lucky to know him my whole life. He died when my daughter was 16 months old.
Okay.
And
I got you.
yeah, for me, he gave me the best advice in my life. Every TV show, he was always there, always. I went into labor. The man drove from Vegas to get there, trying to get there before my daughter came out. Like, he was my everything. And my letter was to him. So I understand how important uncles are.
Definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, okay, so Jesus. I grew up with a Black grandmother and a Black grandmother. So Jesus has been a part of my vocabulary. Probably since I've been speaking. What a friend we have in Jesus. I think it's something that we all grow up hearing. But one day it really hits.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started speaking to him? And do you remember the first time he answered you?
I love that you asked that question because I have a very unique story with that. Again, from a very, very young age, I grew up in the church. My mom had me in church before I was born. So she was like in church taking communion while she was pregnant with me. I would always talk to God and feel a connection. But when I was 8 or 9, I had no idea that my parents were trying to have more kids. So I actually was like praying because I was at that point an only child, and I was like, I want some friends around here. Like, I want somebody to talk to. I don't want to just have friends at school. So I prayed about it, and then I went to my parents and I told them, "Hey, God said you're about to have a boy and a girl," and then walked away. And they were just like, "What?" So then, weeks later, they came back to me and they pulled me aside and said, "Hey, Jeremy, what did you say? Like, what was that you said to us a few weeks ago?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And like, what you said to God, what you had to, it was just normal.
I got the chills.
Yo, I was like, he said you're going to have a boy and a girl. And I was just like, what? Like, what? Why are y'all looking at me like this? And they were like, we want you to know that you're about to have a brother and a sister. We just found out. And I was just like, what? So anywhere we go, any new people that we meet, they always tell that story. And ever since then, I don't think it's ever been hard to kind of, when life got hard, just trust in God and lean on him and know that he's hearing my prayers. Even if I don't initially hear something or feel something back, I know he's hearing it and he's always taking care of me. So I'm not worried about anything.
Oh, okay. So you obviously grew up in the church.
Yeah.
I don't talk about religion a lot on the show because it's controversial, but may I ask what is your like religious beliefs?
Oh, I'm Presbyterian, Christian. Yeah, I grew up Presbyterian, but like in the Presbyterian church, it's a little more, I guess, reserved. There's not a lot of shouting and but my church is unique with that because it's a Black Presbyterian church. So we have people from different backgrounds coming to our church and kind of adding new traditions to my church. Like, I don't know if you know what like the chancel choir is, but it's more like I won't say opera, but it's like a more older school choir that my church had. And then when my mom was younger, when she started going there, she actually created the gospel choir. So they were kind of making things more modern. But yeah, I've grown up Presbyterian.
I love it. So just so you know my religious background a little bit, let me explain to you a little bit about me. My family was Baptist. They was loud. They was falling out. And I always swore one day I was gonna fall out in church because I didn't want to go, especially football. And I had other things to do. Like I was trying to watch football. And I used to tell my mom, if you make me go to church, I'm gonna fall out. I got grown and went to church by myself one time and fell out. Never made that joke again.
Yo, that is hilarious because it'll hit you when you least expect it.
When I least expected it, and I probably needed it because I was probably in church with my going out clothes the night before. But I was in church by myself. I went on this whole religious journey. I grew up in a Jewish neighborhood, and one of my best friends was Jewish. The other one was Mormon. Some of my family is Jewish. My great grandfather was a Jew. My mother never really identified, I guess, which was.
I got you.
My stepfather is a Jehovah's Witness. Nothing. I
I was
believe.
about to say, you have like all the different backgrounds around you.
And then one of my brothers is a 5%er. So I went on this journey to read, and try to understand, right?
Yeah.
And what I went back to was my my grandmother. My grandmother is Native. My grandmother believed in the earth. She believed in karma. She believed in the Lord. She didn't care what you called him. And after studying, I was like, everybody's praying to the same God. They just calling this man a different name, or this being or energy a different name. And so I was like, you know what? I believe in the earth. I believe in karma, and I'm more spiritual. I do believe there's a higher power, but maybe the higher power is energy, which brought me to the parallel universe, which brought me to outer space, which brought me to having all these questions from you, because I am totally intrigued.
Most definitely.
You know, by the beliefs of people. And I believe whatever makes you a better person is a beautiful thing. So that's why I asked, and it takes me to Lost in Space, right? And because I haven't been in the church in so long, I'm not gonna lie, but those organs is the reason why I asked you if you played those organs. They were so beautiful. And it reminded me of being a child and eating that hard candy and kicking those hard old white shoes on you in front of me. You gave me a feeling that I hadn't felt in so long.
No, I really appreciate that.
It was a beautiful journey.
Yeah. It's life. It's life. And that song to me was more so me trying to, it's, as you know, when you're acting and you're playing 1,000 different roles, you can kind of get lost with your not your foundation, but like, okay, really, who am I right now? Because I'm growing so much as an actor, I'm growing so much as an artist. If somebody asked me who I was, like, what would my response be? So that was kind of me, you know, taking a step back and talking to people that are trying to find themselves, either find their faith, find their religion, or find out what they want to do in life. What's their calling? What's their purpose? And I wanted to speak to people through that song for that specific purpose.
Oh, well, you got me, because I'm going to find me a black church. I'm going to visit somebody black church sometime soon before the month is over, because I just really enjoyed myself and it hit my soul. And I was
that's my main goal. I said if it just blesses one person, then it was worth it.
Oh, well, you already did your job.
I appreciate that.
Because it's not just me, but my daughter as well. I always said that I would not push religion on my daughter. I wanted to educate her on all of them and then let her decide what she wanted later. So I think it's time for us to start this journey and go some different faiths. And
that is amazing.
Because we've talked about them on paper. I have library. I love books. So we've read things. We celebrate everything from Chinese New Year to Ramadan to Christmas to Hanukkah. Like, we literally celebrate everything up to the like, we don't leave anything out. And so I think it's time for her to start taking a nice little journey. And I think we're going to start in a black church there.
And that's amazing that you're doing that, because so many you'll see other families or other parents kind of pushing one specific thing on their child, and that child usually ends up turning away from that because it was forced on them. You know what I mean? So it's dope that you're even raising her like this, to kind of just know everything and then kind of make her decision and pick what speaks to her. That's awesome.
I mean, I'm still learning. I'm 47 years old, and for the first time I heard Ifa. And I was like,
oh yeah,
what's Ifa? I studied religion for 15 years. How did I not know about Ifa? And so I'm still studying and learning and on a journey. I'm not trying to find myself. I know who I am, but I'm nosy and I like to read. So I want her to learn as I learned. And while we're talking about learning, I had a really hard pregnancy, right? And during my pregnancy, I had a family member say something very ignorant to me. Colorisms, right, was an issue.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that my family had these colorism issues.
Yeah.
An aunt came to me and asked me, was my daughter going to be dark with nappy hair? And I was totally offended. I was in labor every day for 7 months. And I said, I don't care if my daughter is purple.
Yeah.
I just want my daughter here safe, healthy, and happy. And so you know where I'm going with this, right? So you have a song, Purple Alien Girl.
That's crazy how you tied that in.
Right, but it was my favorite song. And it was a song that I found, not just I was singing it, but my daughter was singing it. And we listened to it several times. And I was like, you're my little purple alien. We're like, where did you come up with that from?
So it's crazy that you were talking about birth and you had a hard time with it and the transition to Purple Alien Girl. So Purple Alien Girl is I dedicated that song to my girlfriend, Ariel, who happens to be a doula and helps bring life into this world. And she's taught me so much about just the whole process. I didn't even know what placenta pills were, and people I didn't know anything about anything. And she kind of just opened and expanded my mind to that. But you'll hear the lyrics at a point. I think when we started communicating on social media, at that point, I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was just focused on my craft, focused on film, media. A relationship was the farthest thing from my mind. So you'll hear me saying the song, I had given up on love, and then you found me. So she literally came out of what I said nowhere, but I know God placed her in front of me at the right time. And ever since we met, it's been amazing. She's shown me, what a queen is supposed to be, like my partner is supposed to be. But with the doula thing, it's a lot that goes into that. And for, like you said, situations where, birth sometimes can go left or, be a process that you're not expecting. She's always there to kind of, push the person along and help them with whatever situation comes up and make sure the baby's okay and make sure the mom's okay.
Amazing. So you said in the song, yes, I had given up on love and you found me.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a kid. I was going through premenopause. I didn't think that I was going to be able to get pregnant. I tried. It wasn't working. I ended up having a miscarriage. And then no, it's okay. 6 months later, here she came. And my body was trying to abort her 14 weeks. And so I had given up on love and she found me.
That is amazing.
So
I love art like that can mean one thing to me but mean something totally different to you, but it's the same message. I love that.
Yeah, and it's purple. It was just like, oh, this is my song.
Yeah.
So see,
the fact that she's
you done found this song. You about to marry a doula. I'm putting it out there.
Yep, I am.
And just so you know, I'm ordained. So if you're looking for somebody to do your wedding,
for real? Are you serious?
Wait, that's something I've never said publicly. I probably shouldn't have said that, right?
I will definitely hit you up. I'm so serious.
So look, y'all don't judge me, okay? I am ordained. I have done weddings before. I don't say it publicly because I talk a lot of shit. And so
that's true. People judge, and I don't judge.
The judgment. But I became ordained because my brother is gay and he wanted to marry his lover, who he didn't end up marrying. I think, look, Carlito Quincy, y'all need to quit playing. But he grew up in the church and he felt that he wanted to get married in the church, but the church doesn't want to marry them.
Got you.
They're gay. And I said, you don't need no church to marry you. You got a sister.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
So I went back. I told you I went on this whole journey and studying and everything. And I was like, let me take my courses and do this right. So
That is phenomenal. I will definitely be hitting you up when it's that time.
you just made me tell on myself. So yes, God, haters and friends be the same ones.
Yeah, that line spoke to a lot of people. Like they played it, and then they were just like, okay. I feel like a lot of people, especially in this industry, are dealing with that line. But everybody in real life, it doesn't matter what your career is or what your goals are. Once you start succeeding, you will have the people closest. It could be family that's not rooting for you, not cheering for you, and they're the main ones that should be. So yeah.
Well, that one hit me in the gut. And obviously I just let it go. Now I want to get to something that's more fun. Okay.
Okay.
Because that one hurts my feelings, but it's so true that it stuck with me. Greg Majors and Ari Jenny, right?
Mm-hmm.
That had to be an incredible studio session. There was some incredible flows going on. How did you hook up with these two to do Set Me Free?
So, Ari Jenny, I went to high school with him, and it's crazy because he's actually the one that taught me how to make instrumentals through FL Studios, like through software. I was making beats on my keyboard and stuff in high school, and he was like, "No, let me sit you down. Let me show you how to do this." But originally, I had someone else scheduled to be on the song. I did my verse, and I was sending it out to people. One of the people was Greg. I met Greg on set of like one of the movies I did last year, and I saw his Instagram, and it was like a lot of posts about God and his faith. And I saw he did music, so I was like, I definitely have to get you on this album. But the other person wasn't really able to do their verse in time. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll find somebody else. And I sent it to my boy, Ari. Now, I sent it to him. My verse was on it. Greg's verse was on it. It was just an open spot for him. And he said he was in a depressed state at that time. I knew nothing about this. Once he received once he received the song, he said he cut his hair, hooked up all his equipment,
Let it go.
started recording, and sent it to me. And he said once he listened to the full track, it kind of pulled him out of that depressed state that he was in. I had no idea about any of that, but I'm kind of glad the first feature didn't work out because he was supposed to be on that song. His verse was amazing. Both of their verses were fire, but his verse, the way he did the melodic thing with the auto tune, it was phenomenal. And to hear the actual pain that he was going through in real life and kind of uplifting people at the same time, like that was, I couldn't have scheduled that. I couldn't have planned that. That was all God.
No, the journey of that song alone was like, what? And what am
Yeah.
I listening to? That's one of those times I question myself, what am I listening to? This isn't a gospel rap album. This is pop. This is R&B. This is Jay-Z.
It's everything. It's outer space. It's everything. It's just an out of this world sound. And I do appreciate music like that I kind of get confused. Like, what genre is this? I love confusing people with the genre of what they're hearing. As long as it speaks to you and as long as it helps you and blesses you, it could be whatever genre you want. You know what I mean?
And that's where I want to put this. I want people to know, yes, it's a gospel rap album. Yes, it speaks about Jesus, but you didn't Jesus God me to death. You weren't like, if you don't do this, you're gonna go to hell. If you don't do this, like I forgot what I was listening to, and I was just grooving and enjoying myself. You took me on a journey. So that's another question that I have for you before we move on to the next song. You literally took me on a journey, right? So what was your thought process when you put together and organized the album? Because first you made me fall in love with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you made me think, but then you made me party.
Yeah.
Was that done purposefully?
It was. I organized it. So I wanted to kind of start off mellow, but with a still epic cinematic sound, or the big horns, like a movie trailer. I wanted to capture your attention. And I kind of wanted to settle down. And I wanted people to reflect a little bit with those next few songs. And then I wanted to turn the 808s up and have you nod in your head and
Yeah.
then bumping the music, stuff that you could ride to in your car. And then I really wanted to minister and uplift people with those last, I think it's like 3 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Those are where the gospel samples and those organs that you're talking about really hit hard.
Yeah. So
I wanted it to almost feel like a victory, like a journey, and then at the end it was a victory. I wanted that kind of epic victory feeling once you got to the end of that journey, like you had overcome whatever you were going through.
oh yeah, I didn't even know I was going through stuff. Until I started listening, then I realized how much baggage I was still holding on.
Mm-hmm.
And things that had really hurt me that I had never dealt with.
Yeah.
It was a lot of therapy, honestly, listening to the album. And I know that's why people like Tupac, right? Because he sends you through this therapy and you feel like it's relatable and he's speaking to you. And that's how I was feeling with you. You talked about we have to let go with being comfortable to get to where we want to go. It's true, because sometimes people in your life or habits that we just don't let go of hinder us and keep us there. What have you had to let go of to move to the next chapter?
Definitely that comfortable feeling, doing certain projects that I was doing for a while, it got comfortable to me on the level that I was doing them on. And the thought of growing and stepping outside of that and becoming something bigger was frightening. But seeing how many opportunities that we were creating with our films and with the music, I knew I couldn't stop. Like I had to keep going, seeing how much people were inspired by it. I had to keep growing and kind of stepping out on faith and leaving all fear and all that stuff behind. I had to do that. I just had to do it. I remember when I did my first official movie, London and James. I had filmed it. I had gone through some stuff. I was stressing a little bit, but then we got it done. Right before the premiere, I'm like, okay, this is really happening. But it was like a fear feeling for me. And I was like, I've already done everything, accomplished everything for this film. Why am I like terrified right now? And I realized that it was real. Everything that I was praying for was happening and it was coming to life. And that was insane for me that it was all falling in line. So I just knew I had I couldn't waste that opportunity. I had to keep moving, keep growing, and keep building opportunities for our people here.
I love the fact that you said that you couldn't lead with fear. So Soleil, my best friend and like my sister, I can't even call her friend,
Yeah,
sister now. We went back and we shot Punky during COVID, and we had mask on, and they made us wear this crazy shield, which makes your like eyes welled up, and I wear glasses so you can't see anything.
Yeah.
I'm claustrophobic. She's a little claustrophobic. Soleil looks, and we come out of our trailer, and Soleil goes, "We are not going to lead in fear. We're going to lead in love. Let's go."
Yeah.
I hear her say that in my head all the time. We're not going to lead in fear. We're going to lead in love. Let's go.
I love that.
Speaking of let's go. So I grew up in the studio. My uncle Tyrone, who I wrote the letter to, is a musician. Love my life is a musician. My brother's a musician. I grew up literally like in the studio, and I'm jealous. I had to say, Cherie, don't be jealous. You're listening to a gospel album. Jealousy is a sin. How you gonna be jealous? I'm jealous that I was not in the studio when y'all made Amen, because it seems like you guys had so much fun during that session.
Yeah. That's my homegirl, Keisha. She's definitely, she be spitting fire. Like she has a unique sound.
She spits fire, right? But okay, so Keisha, just to let you know, I thought I was listening to a Dr. Dre album. Keisha gangster, right? So
she a little thug.
Gangster. So she brought some gangster element. Like I felt like I was like, okay, so I used to have a Toyota Camry back in the day when I was 16, right? I thought I was doing it. I had like tinted windows. I used to lean back.
You got to.
Keisha brought me back there to a really great time in my life. And I was like, this is amazing. Like Keisha Demi is her name?
Yeah.
How did y'all come up with the collab? And did you have as much fun as I think you had when y'all was doing the session?
So I was trying to. I had her on my prior album, 1989. Anytime we create music, we have like a friendly competition, like whose verse is gonna be more fire. Like mine is more fire than yours, and we're always supporting each other. um, it was really fun. It was really fun. And after we recorded, I believe that was actually the first song I recorded for my album, which ended up being the last song on the album. But that kind of set the tone. And I remember like still writing for the other songs to my album, and she would randomly hit me up like, "Yo, I just listened to that song like 12 times today." Like I just listened to it again. So that kind of set the tone for the entire rest of the album. And I appreciate her. She's been a day one since like 2014, 2013.
I forgot I was listening to gospel rap.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what I wanted to do, because I know when I was growing up, gospel rap had like a negative, like, oh, that's corny, or that's not really, it don't sound right. But like the new gospel rap that I've been hearing,
yeah,
amazing. 1K Few, Lecrae, you already know Lecrae, Wande, like all their music is really, really powerful, and it's preaching, and it's entertaining at the same time. And if you zone out, you don't even realize you're listening to gospel. It sounds like you might be listening to some Rick Ross or something, or some Wale or some Wayne. Like the beats are fire, but there's a deep message behind the beats.
And that's what it was for me. The beats are fire, but you get lost in the lyrics. Like the beats don't supersede the intelligent lyrics that you guys.
Yeah.
I totally appreciate it. I love the journey. I fell in love with you again because I already love you. And you totally made me fall in love with you again. And then when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, I want to get in the studio. I haven't been in the studio in 8 years since I became.
Okay.
And
you got to get back.
I miss the environment. I just missed the energy in the room. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh.
And now with technology, it's so much easier to just me record something here and then send something to you. You record it, send it back to me. I'll mix it and master it. And it's like we were in the same place. And then it just, you'll never know. Me and Keisha weren't in the same studio.
No.
We weren't. I sent her everything. I recorded my verse. I sent it to her. She recorded her verse within like a few hours and sent it back. Like, that's how serious we are about this music thing.
Wait, so was it, you weren't even there virtually?
No. I don't think I think we might have recorded one song together in our entire friendship. And that was like years ago.
So this is horrible.
Everything else.
I'm not trying to put nothing on you, right? The last director was on here smoking weed. I'm not trying to say you smoke weed or anything. I don't know, Keisha. But
I don't.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to put nothing on you, but listening to this song, I was in the studio. Somebody was smoking weed. They was over there mixing. Somebody had on the earphones, and y'all was in the booth. You know what I'm saying? And in my head, y'all was in the booth together at the same time, and I was there just rocking. Like,
yeah.
Felt like I was, you gave me the experience like I was there.
I love that. I'm so invested in cinema and movies that I also want my music to be cinematic. If you close your eyes, I want you to literally visualize everything that you're hearing.
Oh, I saw us on a spaceship.
That's fire.
I saw us on a spaceship. I saw us at church. I saw us walking in a parallel universe, looking at Earth, but not being able to touch it.
Fire.
I saw so much. I saw, we was in the studio. I mean, I was mad that I wasn't there in real life. So far that it wasn't virtually. Now, I can't let you get off without talking about the fact that you are a director. You are a cinematographer. Are we going to get some visuals on this album?
We will. There's already a music video for Amen. I actually filmed that at my actual church. I'll send you the link for that so you can check it out. But yeah, me and Keisha are in church. They got me up there as the minister. I got the little white collar on. I'm ministering while I'm rapping. I got to send you that.
Am I allowed to play pieces of that in this interview?
Of course.
Please, absolutely, positively amazing. Because I was like, oh, he's got to give me some visuals to this. Okay, so can I talk to Jeremy real quick?
Okay, hey, how's it going?
Jeremy. Really quickly, I want to talk about London and James. It's available now on Amazon Prime. So I can't
It
let
is.
this time go without talking about the fact that you're a director, my love.
I am. Like I
Tell
said, you have inspired a lot of what I do. It was different directing, acting, filming certain scenes, editing, like wearing all the hats at the same time can be overwhelming, but I had a mission. And then my one of my best friends, Bronwyn, she played London. We both wrote it, co-directed, and that movie was just that was fire. We premiered it. We had a red carpet premiere at Hoyt's West Nursery Cinemas in 2019, and then 2020 hit, and then everything went downhill. Um, we were still trying to figure out what was going on. We couldn't make movies at the time because it was a lockdown.
Mhm.
So we were kind of freaking out, panicking, like, how are we gonna how are we gonna survive? How are we gonna make money? And then I started researching how to get my stuff on Amazon. And I did all the back channel stuff and communicated with people that worked there and eventually got my movie on there. And that was Christmas. We released it Christmas 2020 on Amazon Prime. It's still on there. And now I have more distribution with like Hulu and other platforms. So I've just been grinding. I've been studying. I love, even when I go to the movies to watch movies, I'm studying. It's like I'm in class.
So that's one of the questions that I wanted to ask you. Everybody is a filmmaker now that they can afford a camera, right? But
Facts.
I
Facts.
have a hard time watching films because a lot of them is like watching, home video. Your movie is
Yes.
an actual movie, and you wore so many hats when you did the movie. I was like, oh no. Oh, he's good. Like,
Yo, thank you.
really, no, like really good. So I want to know from you, like, what advice would you give those young guys who just went and bought a Black Magic because they can afford? Because your elements were correct. A lot of these people have a camera, but their sound is crap. Your sound is amazing. They have a camera, but they have no production value. Like you have production value. So what advice would you give them?
I thank you for even acknowledging that. That's certain, like it's hard to watch. I don't ever call myself indie films because like that has a bad rep because either the video will be off or the audio will be off. And I feel like I have media OCD. If something's off, it's going to stand out to me. And I hate it. So that's what also makes me a perfectionist when it comes to making sure the quality is matching industry standards. I want my stuff to be up there competing with, Black Panther and Equalizer and all those great films that I look up to. So I would tell the person coming up that just bought the camera, be serious about your craft. Study. When you're going to the movies, when you're watching movies at home, study. Don't just watch for entertainment. Look at the angles. Why are they doing certain things in certain angles? Listen to the audio. Listen to what you can hear versus what you can see on screen. Listen to how the audio is panning across your speakers when stuff like intricate details matter in film. It's art. And be serious about your art. And if you're serious about it, you're going to always grow and your films will be better and better and better and better.
And stop using the microphone that come with the camera. That's not sound.
I hate that. That's not sound at all. If you don't get yourself a boom mic, a shotgun mic, something, some lavaliers, something.
Yes, something. And cameras are cute, but if you ain't got no lens package, you ain't got nothing.
Facts.
I'd rather you have yes, because I'd rather them have a cheap camera and an amazing lens package because then you that's cinematography. And lighting, having this little box light, ain't gonna cut it. But if you get 3 Kino flows,
facts,
it can change your life.
Facts. It's the little intricate things like that, man. And I get so tired of like watching things where it just looks like I don't want to even call it a movie because it's disrespectful to even say it's a movie. It's like a bunch of clips put together.
Yeah.
And the audio is bad. You can't really hear what they're saying. The lighting is bad. Quality is low. Amazon was actually taking the independent films that they were accepting and kicking them off of there around the time that I put mine on there. So I was a little nervous when I was hearing that. I was like, they're getting rid of all independent films or what? but it was like a lot of the ones that were lower quality, and they literally would just delete them.
Yeah.
So yeah, be serious about your craft. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Always invest in your equipment. Always build your equipment. And that's and stay prayed up. Definitely keep God first. Keep your faith first and stay prayed up.
So, okay, last question, because I know I don't have forever with you, but you're two men in one, right? And I love the fact that you separated them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about Jeremy and who Jeremy is as a person?
So Jeremy, and in the film industry, in the film world, I go by Jeremy CY Butler. That's my government name. Because that's what started everything when I was making the home videos, way back. We put my brother and sister in it. My production company is J, 3Js, Jeremy, Jared, and Janae. That was my brother and sister that I would film the home videos with, and that turned into my big production company. But yeah, that's who Jeremy is. Jeremy is the director, the actor, the cinematographer, everything involving the film side.
The writer, the
The
editor.
writer, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. That's who Jeremy is.
And then who is Jay?
So Jay
Psychs.
Psychs, yeah, Jay Psychs is, my music side as well as my social media side. That's how I met you. I was doing sketches. I forgot what sketch that was, but I had the Family Matters theme song in it, and I sent it to you. I forgot I even put that theme song in it. I sent it to you because I thought the sketch was funny. Then I realized, oh crap, I actually put like that has the song in it, and you heard it, and you were like, I love what you did with that. So Jay Psychs is, the music and the social media side of me.
I love it. And
like you'll never see Jay Psychs in the credits of any of my films. It'll always be Jeremy.
Well, what if you do one of the songs?
So you will see, okay, so you're right. So you'll see Jeremy as director, writer, actor, but in the music credit section, you'll see Jay Psychs, Outer Space or whatever song is playing.
I love it. So tell people how to find you on social media.
On all forms of social media is JayPsychs. That's Jay Psychs on everything: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. You can also go to jaypsychs.com to keep up to date with, my movie dates, if we're having auditions, what new projects we're working on, all kinds of things like that.
Can you give us the website one more time? Because I just changed your view.
Okay. Jaypsychs.com, JayPsychs.com. You can keep up to date with all the movies and things that we have on there. Shout out to Edwin. That's my boy from Baltimore. We do a lot of our films together. The movie that we're doing now, We the People, we're both co-directing that. We co-wrote it, and I've been doing a lot of projects with him as well.
Amazing. So before I let you go, can you look at the camera and can you say your name? We'll say Jay, because this is really Jay's interview. I just made Jeremy enter, and say that you're going to be on Cherie's World podcast.
Hey, this is Jay Psychs. I'm about to be on Cherie's World podcast. I'm super amped. Thank you, Cherie, for having me. I'm a big fan, and you're such an inspiration to me in my life.
Oh, baby, thank you for coming. I appreciate you more than you can imagine. Did I miss anything that you want to say?
You literally touched on more than I even had played. Like, your segues were amazing. The purple alien girl thing definitely got me. That was amazing.
Well,
you hit it on everything.
The purple alien girl got me because I told you had me in church, right? And then you know how certain things really speak to you.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who he made this song for, but I think he was with me when I was on bed rest for 7 months, literally laying there having contractions. I ended up on heart meds. I was getting, not to make this about me, but I was getting injections in my butt, steroid injections every week, trying to make sure that I didn't lose my baby. I had a cerclage. Your doula baby.
No, I know.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
I was gonna say I had a cerclage and my daughter was trying to come past the stitches. And they had put me on Oxycontin, which I only took one. I couldn't, I didn't like it. I don't like not being able to control my body. I'm not a drinker, I'm not a smoker, I don't do drugs. So that just didn't for me.
Yeah.
And for her to make this comment when I was at the lowest place in my life that I'd ever been, the doctor told my mom that he was more worried about me making it than the baby. I was trying to hide my pregnancy from the public because I was scared I was going to die. And so it wasn't a conversation I was trying to have. So listen to Purple Alien Girl.
Yeah.
That's my song.
Yeah.
That was everything. And I was like, he made this for me. So Ariel, I'm sorry. I know it's about you and everything, but you got to share it with me a little bit, Ariel.
It's crazy. I didn't no one would ever know that you even going through that. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that God saved you and your daughter.
Thank you.
That's phenomenal. That's a testimony.
She came out fine. The child was perfect. She came out one day before her due date. Like
that's amazing.
My mom told me that when you have children, that it's their get back. My mom was like, "This is my get back to you," and it started before she came out. It was like everything you put me through, you
that's always what they say. That's definitely what they say.
That from jump. I love you. I appreciate you.
I love you. Thank you.
Everything that you do, because I want to talk about it. Okay. And everybody, make sure you listen to Outer Space. Once you listen to it, write me. I mean, if you write him, that's cool and everything, but write me. Like, let's talk about it. I'm open to going live and having a conversation with the people who have listened to the album. And I want to know what your favorite song is. Y'all know Purple Alien Girl got me, but Amen. Like, that one got me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. We got permission. We will be playing clips of Amen through the show. Jay.
I'll send that to you as soon as we get off here. I'll send you the link.
Let me tell you something. I'm a fan.
I appreciate it.
Like a straight fan. I can't wait, till you start doing more movies. I need an audition. I'm going to go to your website and see if I can audition for something.
Hey. All right. Because, in November is my next movie, The Kidnapping. So.
Well, that's my birthday month.
Say less.
My birthday is
say less.
First. We got a connection, bro.
Yeah. Say less. Wait, so you're Scorpio?
Yes.
That's crazy. I start Scorpio season.
Are you serious?
October 23rd.
Oh yeah, my Scorpio brother.
Yep.
See,
I'm learning so much more. Yep.
Jesus.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Wow, amazing. I'm guilty. I don't always research. I don't always have fun with that part of the interview. This process with you, to me, was amazing.
This was fire. Natural.
Yeah, I enjoyed every second of it. And I feel like I learned so much from you. Thank you so much.
Most definitely. Thank you. Thank you for having me on here. Thanks for talking to me. Thanks for actually, listening to the album. They weren't just fixed questions. Like, I could tell you were saying lines from the music. Like, you actually listened to everything. I appreciate you for having me on.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? So what happened was I was sitting down vibing, right? And then I was like, no, let me get my phone. No, I gotta write this down. I can't forget this. And then I was regurgitating things to myself. You know when something feels good to you? You heard it, and then you have to remind yourself of it later.
Yeah.
I was reminding me of the things that you said later. So it wasn't the first pass that I was writing stuff down. It was probably like the third pass that I was writing. So after I had listened to the album in its entirety the third time, I was like, no, we need to talk about this.
Yeah. So, you were saying lines that I forgot I said too.
Wow, really? Well, that's what spoke to me. So I want you guys to please listen to the Outer Space and let me know what speaks to you. Let's talk about it.
Most definitely.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you.
What up, Cherie? Heard across the world. Welcome to Cherie's world.